Yes. After that long daf, when daf kuf tesvav will become daf kuf tesvav. We're starting at daf kuf yudal that was based in the Mishnah. So we got to on Shabbos. Start from there. Zok the Mishnah. Hamakir keilov usfarov biyad. Somebody recognizes his sfarim or his kelim by somebody else. And there is a rumor, as the Gemara is going to explain, that it was stolen. The buyer who bought the chayfetz, what we're talking about here, that the kelim were stolen by one person and he sold to somebody else. That buyer has not the kelim. Comes the owner, the original owner, and says, "This is mine." So he says, "Okay, do a shvur, give an oath exactly how much you paid for it. V'hitol, and you will take the money from the owner. V'imlav kol himeno shani oimer morchen la'acher v'lokchem zayimenu." If not, in other words, if not what? Pashtus means if not, there was no rumor, as we'll see in the Gemara. The owner comes and says, "This is mine." You say, "Nechetesi, I don't know that it's yours." Who says it's yours? Maybe you sold it and someone else bought it from you. This Mishnah, as the Gemara is going to call it, this Mishnah is a source of what's called Takonos Hashuk. Takonos Hashuk is, we do a special Takona for the buyer. Why here the owner is paying the buyer? We know if we assume it was stolen, so the owner has the right to get back his kelim. But we here have a special Takonos Hashuk. If the buyer doesn't know better, we'll see in the Gemara, when does it consider to be he doesn't know better? But if the buyer, it says, what am I supposed to do? I went to the market, I bought something, I didn't know anything. You want it back? I'll give it back to you. But I want you to give me money for that. What? Oh, very good, excellent, very good. So this is mamish the nekuda that all the Rishonim jumped upon. The way Rashi learns, we talk about loy miyash. The case is loy miyash. If it was miyash, it will be a different case. We're going to see in the Gemara. The Gemara is going to discuss yush. But mentioning right away, that there is a discussion in the Rishonim, and we're talking here even after yush not. Rashi and the Tosfos and many other Rishonim learn that we're talking about dafka v'lo yush. If there was a yush, the chur is koine. But the Rambam learns that even after yush, there is a takana, meaning that there is such a thing that he can give it back to him. There's takonos hashuk, but it goes also really against. The takonos hashuk here goes both ways. The takonos hashuk is.
Why Rashi says the yachar the Bava lifnei ashinoi?
Lifnei yush kamay, right?
Yeah.
Rashi learns lifnei yush, like you said. That's Rashi's sheet. Rashi says lifnei yush. The Rambam argues. According to the Rambam, you have to understand. We'll see if we have even time. That the Rambam learns that even after yush, there's such a thing you give it back to the original owner. The question is why? What's the time? Okay. Says the Gemara. Even though there was a rumor in town that was stolen, so what? Maybe he sold it. He's the one who's giving out the rumor. You know how rumors work. Rumors is you tell two friends something that you heard from somebody else, and you don't know the source, they don't know what it is, and it spreads a rumor. So he went to two guys and said, "By the way, this was stolen." They tell two guys and suddenly have a rumor in town. There are people that came into his house. Guests. You have guests in the house. He went out and he demonstrated in the night. We find it also, found other Gemaras, but Havgana Balayla. Why we do Havgana Davka in the Laila? Because there's no noise. So people hear it. Say, well, what did this cry about it, right? You go to Yerushalayim, when you want to do a mecha, and they do they do it always in the evening. They don't do it too much noise, you can't hear it. He made a demonstration. He protested in a way that everybody heard. Because you koylo nishva balayla. Yeah, very good. So he says. So he went and screamed and it said it was stolen. So it says again, he found an excuse. He made up a whole thing. It's not true. He sold it. He regrets it. He makes a demonstration. Meaning the guest, they found the tunnel. Right? They found the tunnel coming out of the house. The people that slept in his house, Yotzu, they went out. Ve'anvur koyos shel kelim tefem. It's packages of kelim on their shoulders. Ve'akol oimrim. Everybody's saying nignevu kelim shel ploini. So a little more of an indication. There was a tunnel. Those people that were there, they were going out. They were schlepping things, and everybody's saying nignevu.
Also it's happened that it's talking after years. I mean, how is it stopped before that it's talking after years?
No, maybe after the guy went away, never found him. And these guys screaming he was stolen.
This whole thing would presume.
Yeah, but I'm saying, who knows how long it took till this thing was mizbar. So the dilmo kelim havu sfarim lahavu. Maybe it was only kelim, not sfarim, because we said the mission sfarim. They said sfarim. They said all those books were taken. Maybe he's talking about small sfarim. Maybe they said they took small sfarim, and he's saying they took. I have large sfarim. Very specific. There was the Rashba, the Ritva, and the Ramban were stolen. Maybe there were old ones, and he's asking for new ones. Very so specific. Everybody says this. You see these are the ones that belong to Shmer. So we know the rule. This has to do with all ganav. Any ganav came in machteres, he dug a hole and came in. V'yotza potter my time b'dmei kaninu b'dolshan dmei domin blood because he could kill him. So the kaninu bo machteres. That's only when he came in machteres. He was sacrificing himself going to machteres knowing he could be killed. But here they were guests in the house. It says machteres. The machteres was they left the house of machteres. They didn't come in machteres. It was a one-way machteres, one-way tunnel. So they, in this case, Loi. So in this case, don't say it. It says the Gemara, talking about a ba'abais that he usually sells his kelim. So you need to have all these indications that tell you that here it's different. He was not selling it. If it's ba'abais that usually never sells his kelim, so you don't have to go and check out so much, right? And therefore, because you're assuming you probably, he didn't sell it. It probably was stolen. So maybe he didn't need money in this case. It was pressed for money. No, we're talking about there was a Gneva Beir. So Rashi says, the first Rashi in the Rashi says, the name is several plain. You don't have to be so specific to say exactly which sefer it is. From Rashi, you do need to say all the other indications. There was a guest, and the guest dug a hole, and etc. The Rambam argues, the Vilna Gaon points out over here. The Rambam argues, the Rambam holds you don't need all that. You just need a little bit of a rumor. That's all. Yotza Shem Gneva Beir. That's the only thing you need. You don't need anything else. From Rashi, it sounds you need a little bit more. Now here there is the one discussion that the Rishonim bring over just to mention it. The Kitzer is that the Rishonim say Tosfos brings it over here as well. Tosfos brings the Shailat, they discuss one Bava Metzia, is why don't you say that if it's Kalim, Hasuyim, Lehashil, Ulehaskir, meaning it's things that you borrow and you rent, why don't you have a Migoy to say that the way it came to me, it was borrowed and rented? That's the question. So meaning maybe I'm renting him, maybe the guy, instead of the guy just giving it back, he says, Migo that could have said that I borrowed it for a certain amount of time and I can use it, so I don't want to give it back to you, they kill you right now. Do you have the Migo? You don't have the Migo. I said it wrong. Sorry. I said it wrong. Right? I said it wrong. I apologize. I said it wrong. Let me say it different. If you're talking about Caleb, because you just mentioned over here that we're talking about why can he say lekuchim and biyodi? I'm sorry, the opposite. The owner could say, I lend it to you. You know what why it's doing by you? I lend it to you. If we talk about Kalim Asuyim Lashul ask here, so not that the Ganav says it, not that the buyer says it. Talk about the owner. The owner will say, you know why you got it? Because I rented it to you. I want it back. Migo that I could tell you, man, I rented you. Believe me, that I'm saying it was stolen from me. That's the Shiloh we shouldn't discuss. Oh, very good. So that's where this becomes a very big discussion. The Rishonim and the Achredim is: do you say is this considered to be Migo Loitz or not? Is a Migaloitzi. So Tois is a Tois Bo Mitzia. Other Rishonim discuss, meaning belong to a Sugi over there. Tois wants to say maybe it's called Migaloitzi. Migaloitzi doesn't work.
Because there's a rule, it's conjunction with the rule.
So it's not Migaloitzi. Here for sure, the Kli wasn't in the hand of the Lekech before. He received it afterwards. It clearly came into his possession after the fact. So if it came to possession after this fact, the Shaila is, maybe that's someone who shouldn't want to say it's not Migaloitzi. Because Migaloitzi would be only if I know, this is mine. I'll always. You want to take money out of me? I have a Migaloitzi, I don't say. But here I know it wasn't yours. Elamai, you say you bought it. I believe you bought it. I think it was stolen. The guy could have told me that he didn't buy it. He actually was masking. That's not so much Migaloitzi. That's one big discussion you have here in the Rishonim. Just to mention one more thing here is that they bring it in the back of the Mesivta. So it was Shas and Chuvas that they had regarding Sfarim that were found after World War II. Mm-hmm. Specifically, the Minchas Yitzchak speaking about the Ksaviyad of the Mogen Avram. Found the Ksaviyad of Mogen Avram. It was a specific case that came to Minchas Yitzchak that the descendant of the owner came and said, "This is ours," and the buyer said, "I bought it." So the shaila is, after World War II, do you say, so they want to say, do you, according to Rashi, after Yush, you don't have to Konas Hashuk. So if I don't have to after Yush, you have to go back. This is the Chur after World War II, you have a Yush. What? Yush, you have to Yush. For this case, it's a Yush. The Chur, it's a Yush.
I walked in the Sakla after the war, full swim on the floor, full, it was gone, I can see it now. So, it was terrible. Sakla swim.
Giant farm, yeah. Right, so, and there, that's a matzah. You were talking about the Koras Hashuk. The guy bought the money. Do you have to give it back or not? That was a discussion. The place came again. We'll be again to Machlokes Rashi Rambam that we mentioned before. He paskin that you don't give it back.
You don't have to.
Yeah. Because it was a yush. Because he can give it up. He wants to go. It's a whole base of what he says is going on because that's to how much yush you have. Depends what the yush is. Okay. Sounds like more itmar.
The owner was killed. He didn't have an opportunity to make a yush. Is there yush?
No, because the family do. The family lives as yush, of course. The yush. The yush give up.
This is called Hamatzah, no?
Well, in that case, maybe you have to go into the sugya because the Chur at the Koras Hashuk is even in a case that it's stolen. According to the Rambam, the old you doing it to Yush, they're supposed to Koras Hashuk. I don't know. Connects to the Zutushayam. Maybe that's more. Something more itmar. Ganav u'mochar be'achakachu karaganav. It was stolen, and they sold it, and then.
The question was now, in somebody came, there's a whole numbers. Somebody came in Kibbutz, had a picture of somebody in Kibbutz Berry making white Kiddush, right? So I asked somebody,
How to steal the wine.
so the question was the Zutu Shliam. They thought it was gone, this and that. They made Kiddush in the wine, there wasn't the Kibbutz.
Right.
So they allowed to?
There was a shy with the food.
What? Because of Bivusha? What was the thing?
No, it's not in wine.
Oh, it's not yours.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe it is.
Right?
They had the same shiloh now.
Right.
Can you use the food from the people who left their houses and the soldiers went in to live in these homes? Could you use the food that was left there?
The same thing, right?
The same shiloh was up. I heard that.
Yeah. Says more itmar. Ganav u'mochar be'achakachu karaganav. So he sold it, and then you recognize there was a ganav. Shmei d'avchia amar adini marishon. Meaning, what's adini marishon? So Rashi says, Dinu shel balabayis v'tviyosoi ala ganavu. Pay no care about dinu. Go deal with the ganav. Right? So you should go deal with that. The dinu is with the second one. Omar of Yosef, meaning the second one here is talking about the buyer. Omar Yosef pligi. Kan lifnei yush adini masheni. Kan lachi yush adini marishon. V'tarvayu islu derav chisda. Meaning before yush, so then the din is a masheni, he can go to the lekech. And if it's after you, she does only the Rishon. Here is also again a question where the Rambam is going to fit, how the Rambam fits here. Which Rav Chizah we're talking about? Rav Chizah, the beginning of the parak. Rav Chizah, the beginning of the parak says that if you have Gonav Umachar, or Gonav Ochal, Rotzum Mizegrev, you can go to either one. So here he has, that's the older Rav Chizda. You really have Tviyah on both, and you go to both. Are they not arguing? Hamadisku, no. Kelifni Yush Dam Yupligi. Madiskun is before Yush. No Yush Madiskun. The Kurd is not giving up on the right to get the Madiskun. No? And there is a Machlekes. What's a Machlekes? Not. Omaloi Mechorli Me'eyo Shaparo. So I want you to sell me the inside of the animal, of this cow. Vayube Matonos. And part of the animal is Madiskun that you have to give as Royal Lechem to give it to the Kurd. So so the buyer buys it. He says, I bought the animal. Says the seller to the buyer, yeah, obviously there is matas kuna you have to give, and you'll give it to the kohen. This is not part of the deal. But if he took it and he weighed it, he says, okay, I'm buying from you 3 pounds, and 3 pounds cost this and this amount of money. So clearly what he's saying is, I am buying the matas kuna. So then he does give it to the kohen, and he has to take out from the money, reduce the price for the matnos. But that's if he weighed it. So it's your problem. You're the buyer. Why are you taking something with matnos kiuna? But if the butcher, the one who sold it, he's the one who weighed it and said, oh, here's your things. You deal with the tabach. You go to the butcher, and the butcher has to go. He's going to deal with the kohen. And not the buyer took it already. Why? We just said that you could go to either one. It says the Gemara, the din is with both. Here the Rishonim already point out what's exactly the scenario that the crane goes to anybody. We usually hold throughout Shas. It's a moment shein lo toivim. Who's coming to who? So Rishonim have different ways that I say it. Either is lav davka adin. What?
Maybe Makir.
Oh, Makir Kuna is one of the answers. Makir Kuna. He always has it, or that the crane already had, that there was already an agreement. I'm getting you these matanas, which is similar to Makir Kuna, or it's Lav Davka Makir Kuna. We talk, or Lav Davka Hadin. We talk about Kilu Klap Ishmael. The Lokech and the buyer and the seller dealing with them. Who's responsible over here? They go to Basin. Who's responsible? There's nobody coming into Yeved. So says the Gemara, yeah. Okay, Mao the Tamo. Where the Bach is good, Matas Kuna Einum Nigzolis, Kamash Malan. So it's if we're saying that dealing with both, what's the Chiddush? It's the same thing, we just said it's the same thing like everything else. So I would think maybe there's no Gzelo by Matas Kuna, and therefore, so wherever there, Rashi says, the Koyaninu belong to wherever they are. So you always will go to, you can't go back to the Tabach, because it's really not stolen. Wherever it is, Malon Speech, just go to where you take it from there. The chiddush is that you can go to the tabach as well. Yeah. So according to Abai, they are arguing. My plea, you were the arguing. Meaning the machlekes, if you go to the Rishon to the Sheni. So the more Rav Chizda, right? They're arguing Rav Chizda. Meaning Rav Chizda say you can go to either one, and the shaila is you can't go to either one. Machlekes you can go to either one or not. Rav Zvi Domar, the machlekes is as follows, and this is what we mentioned in Shabbos. There was a yush, but the yush happened only once it reached the hands of the lokeach. There was a ganav. The owner still thought, I'm going to get it back. The ganav sold it. And then the owner said, you know what, I'm never getting it back. There was a yush. What's the machlekes? One holds, there was a yush, and then there was a shini rishus, it's going in. But Shiri Rishus like a Yush like Kani. Here, it changed Rishus from the Ganav to the Lekeach before the Yush. That doesn't work. That's the Machlekes over here. The reason can I go to the Sheni in Bitoyin is because is there a time on the Sheni? Or you're saying the Yush here. Again, the Gemara, Push the Gemara, this is where the Chodim discuss how the Rambam fit. We said, according to the Rambam, this Takona works even after Yush. The Push and the Gemara doesn't work like the Rambam. Here clearly sounds Yush is Koine. If there is, what the Machlekes is, what happens if you have Yush after Shini Rishus? Does it work or not work? But if it would be in the proper way, it would not be an issue. But here the Machlekes is Yush Shini Rishus. Can you go back to the Lokach? Can you go to the buyer or not? If you hold that there was a Yush Shini Rishus, you can't go to the buyer anymore. But if you hold there was the Shini Rishus did not work because Shini Rishus came before Yush, you can't go to the buyer. What? Mashiach's kaini, that's Shini Rishus. The question of Shini Rishus could be 4 years, does it work or not? The Ktsois says, famously, the then what's the machlokes? The machlokes is, what is the definition of Shinui Rishus? Is Shinui Rishus just making it a little more extended after the Yush? Similar to what Toy said, Daf Samach Zayin, regarding the long Toyses, it says about Mitzvah Baba Aveira. When we have only Yush, you're still too close to the Gneva. Someone stole something, took it away, he's a shayim, or whatever the case is, and the owner has a Yush, the owner is Misyash. Even though there was a Yush, even if you hold Yush, a Kani, let's say Yush is enough, you're still so close, you just took it away. The guy was Misyash because of you. You have to have a little more an extension, you have to take it away, further away, do Shinui Rishus. So that's why Shinui Rishus works only after Yush, because Shinui Rishus is not a Kinyan. Shinui Rishus just makes it a little more distance between the Ganov and the next stage. Or you hold the Shinui Rishus is like any other Shinui. Like Shinui Maisa. Shinui Maisa, you take a Kli and you're changing it, it's a Shinui. So if you hold Shinui Rishus as a Kinyan, so then it works. Doesn't matter if Shinui became before Yush or after Yush. That's like Tzai says, that's the Berush Machlokes is, does Shinui Rishus work before Yush or not? So if it's a glima, meaning that it's clear that it's a clothing that belongs to him, so you give it back to the owner. And we're talking about both with Yush. They're arguing the Iket Takaras Ashuk. What does it mean? What does it mean, Takaras Ashuk? Meaning, according to the way Rashi learns, Lushanim learn a little differently. The way Rashi learns, we're talking about here, everybody agrees the Lekeach needs to give back the item to the owner. That's clear. So what's the Machlokes? Machlokes is Legabe, the Lekeach. The Lekeach, what does he deserve? He needs to get back his money. Right. He bought the item. He paid for it. He gave $100 to this beggar. Who's giving back the $100? Who's the Rishoin? The Ganav. What's the Ganav? What are the Ganav? Meaning, the owner says, I'm not dealing, this item belongs to me. We have it's clear, I'm taking it back. Hi, I paid $100, go deal with the Ganav. You have to cross the shuk that the owner needs to pay the lokech. It says you want to take the money from the lokech, you have to do the cross the shuk. Look at Rashi explains the cross the shuk. Al sheknoi lokech b'shuk b'faresio. It was in public. Even boy shin nignov. He didn't know it was stolen. So he needs to pay him back his mois. So that's the cross the shuk. The machlokes said, do you have to cross the shuk or not? The fact that the owner takes back the beggar, he takes back the beggar. Yeah, Rabbi Yochanan holds you do it to cross the shuk. If you want to speak a Rashi, the next Rashi is an important Rashi. But before we get to the next Rashi, here's the cross the shuk. There's just one Nakuda over here. Why does it say Sheni? Who's the Sheni? We're going back to the Brisa, right? Or the Lashon is. For Rishoin, is it Dinim Rishoin or Dinim Hasheni? Dinim Rishoin is the Ganav. Dinim Hasheni is the owner. Why is it called Sheni? So the Ravid, what? 2 steps removed. The Ravid says for the buyer, he's the second guy he met. He went to the market, he didn't know anybody, he knew this guy, the Ganav. He bought from him. Suddenly someone knocks on the door and says, my Kli. So for him it's number 2. And Rabbi Tzukar Meshver over here, he says we should learn the second Rashi, so we'll learn the Rashi. To put in Rashi. He agrees to Rav Chizda. The Lekech cannot tell the owner, I don't have nothing to do with you. You give him back, say, I want my money back. Here there's a discussion in the Rashi. Does he have to give it back before he takes the money? You can hold on and say, I'm not giving it back to you until you give the money. Rashi says, Rashi, first you give back the Kli, then we'll discuss about the money. Others argue. They say that he has a right to hold on to it until he gets the money. Anyway, he takes money. What's the difference if, what do you saying it's across the shuk? Or you saying the owner, he said, I don't know, the owner has to pay for it. So what might have come between the two? In other words, we said, how do you believe him? If he's a Ganav, if he's not a Ganav, yeah, we found that, and he found that. He's paying anyway. She says, he went and he didn't pay for it. The second one came, someone stole and gave it to his friend as a gift. Then he goes and says, I want it back. There's no money to discuss.
Can you make a bracha if you didn't pay for it?
If he knows about that was stolen, if he knows it was stolen, you can't make a bracha. We talked about the Pasha the second guy did not know it was stolen. He didn't know. But you can't make a bracha. That's what we learned before. Yeah, you're not supposed to make a bracha.
So was it a bracha about that?
Oh, that would be an interesting question. If you know that. But is mitzvah I have to get to that. Nice, it comes out that so Rashi here, this is planning to say a little later, but Rashi here says clearly that by my tana, by a gift, then there's no din of teras shuk. I mean, in other words, you take it away and that's it, it's over. Some Rishonim argue and they hold that there is Bava Torah that goes to shuk because we have that rule always throughout Shas. You don't get gifts for free. There's no free gifts. So if I got a gift, it's because one day I gave him a gift. So why am I losing now? You're taking away from me. So it's not so. Rashi clearly holds the gift. You don't have to cross the shuk. Something more of a Sava Rav. Sava Rav la super the cross the shuk. You want to see Rav holds there's not the cross the shuk. For Rav Huna tell me the Rav. Rav Huna was a time of the Rav. And therefore, and you have a story. Charan Bisho, Gon of Glimo. He stole a beged, the Zavno, and he sold it. Also, Gemei the Ravuna came in front of Ravuna. Amalela Gabro Zil Shari Abitoch. He went and told him, go give the money for your beged. If you want it back, the owner, not the Ganav. Says the more Shani Charan Bisho on the lake Lishtamu Keloyu Kordami. Charan Bisho was a mobster. Charan Bisho was a Gavra Almo. You can't go to deal with Charan Bisho. There's no way that the Ganav will pay back. So in that case, as if you don't know the Ganav is there, therefore, if you don't know who the Ganav is, then the owner doesn't pay the owner just pays the buyer only if there's a chance the owner gets back the money from the Ganav. But if he doesn't get back the money from the Ganav, the owner does not pay the buyer. If he's a famous Ganav, you don't have to go to the shuk because the buyer should have known better. What are you buying from this guy? The guy, he's the owner as a thief. But Charan Bisho, we just mentioned the story. He was known to be a bad person, not to be a thief. Okay, so I didn't know he was a thief. Okay. What happens if he stole and then he paid back? The buyer didn't just buy the money right now.
Down payment.
He was a lender. The guy called the Ganav is Reuven. Shimon is the one who got the chayfetz in the end. Shimon didn't just go and pay Reuven and get the chayfetz. Shimon lent Reuven money a month ago. Reuven has to pay back. So Reuven stole the chayfetz and gave it to Shimon. Comes now the owner of the chayfetz. He goes to Shimon. He says, Shimon, here's my chayfetz. He says, 1 second, I paid for it. I ain't paid for it when I took it. I paid for it a month ago. Right? Or Hek, if it was in a store, in a credit, lawyers to what the Quran says. That's not the Quran says. Why? Tell me, love data that now you obviously midi. Right? In other words, you didn't pay. You didn't give the money to get this chayfetz. Shimon gave the loan to Reuven way before. Nothing to do with the chayfetz. The takaras shuk is that if a buyer goes and buys a specific item, he purchases something. You say, 1 second, what takaras shuk? Just to have a market standard, you pay for it, you give back your money back. Here, I didn't pay for it, I gave a loan. It says, mashkanta shavi matan b'meo. If it was a mashkanta, you talk about it specifically, he gave it right away. Right. So he gave him a mashkoin right away for the money. So he says, I'm going to give you $200, but give me a mashkoin. Give him a mashkoin. And the mashkoin is worth much more than the loan. Why? That's normal. That I gave it for you for this money. I'm taking a bigger mashkoin than the actual worth of the loan. Shava b'shava. What happens if it's equal? The mashkoin and the loan are the same. We don't do the shuk because you never lend money for the exact amount of the mashkoin. You lend 100, you don't take a mashkoin worth 100 until you have to go to the market and sell it, and a headache, and you have to go and run after him. If you take up always the mashkoin, the normal, the standard is that the mashkoin is better than the it should be more. So therefore, al korchi, you lend the money not for the mashkoin. That's the question of your grace that or not. Zvino shave b'shave. If it was a sale and it's equal value, obviously also with the Rosh Hashuk, that's the classic Rosh Hashuk. Mea b'maton. But what happens if he paid
double the price.
He doubled the price. She's on the list with the Rosh Hashuk. He says, why are you giving him so much? Elamai, you stand when they're giving nothing to do with the chayfetz. Rav Alma is stupid goes to shuk because sometimes you overpay. Sometimes you overpay. Also with the Rosh Hashuk, you do the Rosh Hashuk in all of them. Lavar migonov upora b'choyvoy, gonov upora b'keifoy, except in the case of a loan or a credit that it happened way before. Says what Avir bar Nazi Chamua de Ravina. Nazi was the father-in-law of Ravina. He lent money to somebody for Zuz. So the borrower stole a chayfetz and brought it to the lender. So then he lent him another 4 Zuz. Oh, I see you are a good borrower. I gave you 4 Zuz, you pay me back. You gave me a kli, here's another 4 Zuz. Then they found out it wasn't his, he stole it. Also, Ravina came back to Ravina. Omar, Kamoi, the first ones is Konu Par B'choy Boy V'loy Bay L'Meisev V'loy Miti. The first 4 you gave it to him without getting the chayfetz. You gave the $4 a month ago. Now you're getting the chayfetz. That's not the Rosh Hashuk. The other 4 zuz, the 4 zuz that you lend the second time, because the only reason I gave the next 4, the way the one that says right now, why did I give the 4? Because you gave me a chayfetz. So I see that you're a reliable person, you're a good borrower. That's the only. If you wouldn't pay me back, we'll never give you another 4. Rav Kohen. Only place in Shas this name appears. I saw that in one sefer, one of the grandchildren of the Chazal Sefer says that maybe they're supposed to be Rav Kahana. That's what you want to say, or maybe it's a one-time place to have a Rav Kohen. We had a few that go Rav Aaron.
Right.
There's also So Matkir Rav Kohen v'dilma galimo behan zuzi kamayo yahavin ali. Maybe the glima was for the first 4. That's when you're paying back for the loan. And the other 4, the lender, the shrer, he relied on this person. He gave him 4. Yes, I would never give another loan if you don't pay me back. But once you pay me back, it means you're a trustworthy person. I'm not giving it for the chayfetz itself. So it's the fact that you give the chayfetz back is not that's not for that and give the money. It says we gal gemil somota kemeder avo. So it came in front of Ravo, the story, Oma Ilchasok Rav Kohen. The halacha is like Rav Kohen. There's no Takarat Hashuk in this case. So then another story. Nasha Gonav Safra. Rashi learns that these names that we're going to learn right now, they're all names after their cities. Interesting, Rav Yonasan, the Shittim Kubetis argues, says no, 1 or 2 of them are the cities, the rest are actual names. So I'm stuck with this Oymik Tvarim over here in terms of names. These very funny names here. Yep, Nashog Gonav Sifro. Nashog, according to Rashi, came from Nashog, he stole a sefer. Zabne lepapano. He sold the papano and what? Pitamnam zudi, bezuzi. He sold it for 80. Also papano, Zabne bar mechazor, b'me'abes bezuzi. Papano went and sold it to a third person for 120. He made a profit of 40.
Middleman.
Very good. So if you Ganov, then you recognize the Ganov. Oma Abaye. Leizil Mori de Sifro, the owner, is going to give to the number 3, Tamnam Zuzi. He should give him 80. Vishokil Safri. He will give him 80 because that's how much the Ganav made out of it. That's what the owner can get from the Ganav. The Ganav stole it and sold it for 80. So what does the owner can get from the Ganav? 80. So with the Ganav I'm dealing for 80, I'm going to go take it from the third person. And the third person should go to the second person and take the actual profit. That's what he said. Meaning the halving of the Gemara was, I'm dealing with the Ganav, says the owner. You have a buyer, I'll pay you whatever I pay the Ganav. Says the Gemara, no. The dealing, it says Rava, what's the Koras Hashuk? The Koras Hashuk is, why should the buyer lose out? So the buyer should lose out, the buyer of the buyer should also not lose out. I paid 120. Why should I have to run after the number 2 and get the 40? The owner will go to number 3, pay whatever he paid for it. What's 120? Take the safer. The safer, then the owner should go. And then he'll take 40 from Papanon and 80 from Nasha, meaning
The profit and the
he's going to take from each one whatever the person made. And that's the Takonas Shuk. The definitive Takonas Shuk is that the owner has the responsibility to go collect the money from the people that have his money. That's what that's the definition of Takonas Shuk. Okay, I wanted to see the Shulchan Aruch inside. We don't have time. Let's go on. And if we do have time, after the next Talmud, we'll go back to Shulchan Aruch, which is over here. Just very interesting. Allah L'maisa Takonas Shuk. Very interesting.
voice note.
With the Takonas Shuk, so the Mishnah. Zeba b'chavisoi sheyayin v'zeba b'kadosh l'vash. You have one person carrying a barrel of wine, another one carrying a barrel or a jar of honey. And Nizgo chavish l'vash is one of the places the Gemara brought a raya. The chavis v'kad is the same thing. We just called the dvash kad, then we changed it to be chavis. So that's one of the rayas. So the chavish l'vash breaks. He threw the wine and to save the honey. Says the Mishnah of Kutisvam on the base, Ein loy elos schar, you pay him the schar. Which is schar, she says, schar kli v'schar pulo. Pay for the kli, for the pulo, but I'm not paying you for the wine. V'im omar, atzil es shilcho, v'atano telit v'ei shili. Says, if he says before, let's do a deal. I'm going to save your wine, but I need you to pay me I'll pay you the oil, I want you to pay for the wine. Then he has to give it to him. Similarly, you have a river taking his donkey and the donkey of his friend. The friend's donkey is worth much more than his donkey. He left his own and went to get his chaver. He has only the money, the how much it cost him to do it. And if he told him, I'll do a deal, I'm going to save you, you have to pay me, has to give it to him. Here we have a big Mechuyesh, which is very important to remember. Mechuyesh Rif in the Rosh. How does this fit with what we learned at the end of yesterday's daf? Right. The Gemara had that the Kon of Yeshua that you could go and save it. Right. Isn't it arguing? The Rif learns is arguing. And this Mishnah argues in the Brisa. And if we don't pass on like a Brisa at all. The Rosh learns is not arguing. The Rosh says, the Gemara there is talking about that they made a deal before. He told him. And he has the right, according to the Rosh, he has the right to demand it. The owner of that's the Kon of Yeshua. What is the Kon of Yeshua? The owner of the honey can tell the owner of the wine, I'm asking you to break the wine to save the honey. It's the Kon of Yeshua, you have to do it. But if we didn't make any deal, you don't have to do it.
So that goes back to the question whether we accepted those 3 additional cases.
Yeah, according to the Rif says this is exactly very good. The Rif holds there's the Kon we're not passing that way. Just to mention one other Ara which has to go with the Gemara Le'el. Tosis asks, and then we're not going into the whole discussion. But what about why is that the Mavriach Arim Nichse Chaveira? We learned earlier Mavriach Arim Nichse Chaveira don't pay anything. Right? Someone chases the lion away. Why is not Mavriach Arim? One simple answer is there the hezek is not so clear. Then lion may come, may not come. One thing here, it's a clearness.
If you made a deal beforehand, what do you need to come to show for
it? They can demand it. The Kodesh shows they can demand it. Right. The owner of the oil can tell the wine, you have to break it to say by things. I don't want to do it. I love my wine. So I'm going to pay you. That's the God. Says the Gemara, why do you say it's creating mehefker? In other words, there was almost like if you what we really mentioned before, like almost like a zutu shiyam, such a thing. It's hefker. You're losing it anyway. Person has barrels of wine and oil. He sees that the breaking. Should not say this is truma and meiser on what's in my house. Why? Because I'm looking at this oil and wine as it's lost. You can't do truma and meiser kumacher. What does it mean? Rashi learns talk about that there is the ekel beisabad is the big beam of beisabad which is standing on the barrel. So the oil is dripping. It's not spilling. It's going slowly. So if it's going slowly, it's something that he still has time. The owner can still save it, and that's why it's not lost. It's a slow efset, yeah. Says the Gemara, you want to tell you about true mice? If he did it, it doesn't work. We have a price, so someone's going the way and he has money. Comes a thief with a gun to his head, and he says, "Give me your money." He says, "Okay, I'll give you the money." But before he gives the money, he says, "I have an idea." I have fruits at home which are ma'aser sheni. I want to be mechal. I'll mechal on this moist. Then he steals the moist. I'm not responsible for that. But if he does it, it works, even though the guy is taking it. What's the difference between the money and the Truma Samaisis? He could save it. That's the reason. If you could save it, gewaldig. It's not so easy. Yes, you have to run after that thief and bring his friend and jump on me. You have to do it. And that's why, mainly, that's why we say lechatchila don't do it, but the evidence works. Now here we have a machlokes in the Yeshiva, as the Bach points out over here. The Bach goes now throughout the rest of the Amud, Rashi and Tosfos to see, do we agree with this or not? Meaning, what's the machlokes? The discussion is the next part of the Gemara talking about the lechatchila not b'diavad yes, or we talk about a case which even b'diavad not. That's the two ways, just to keep it in mind. The kollege gave say the two argues to lechatchila. You want to tell me if there's a hefsid? So lechatchila, at least you should not do it. Person has 10 barrels, they're tummy. They're tummy anyway. He sees one of them breaking. But you have a gilui. What's a gilui problem? Then you can't enjoy it because you're assuming there's a venom of a snake over there. You say this is Chumas Meiser. Meaning you have over your tevel, you want to say, I'm making it into Chumas Meiser. And you can use it because anyway, the kohen is not going to get from the tevel, he's going to be tummy anyway.
Right.
This is tummy. So I saying right now that it's broken in his galto, I make a Chumas Meiser. Ubeshemen lo yaseken if it's a kohen. Shemen is different because shemen there is more what to use with the truma, and even when we said truma started recently in the Yerushalmi, that when you have the shemen, you can use it for fuel for burning. So that's why the shemen is more of a hefset. That same answer. That's the problem with the girso. Because ekel beisabad, we said before, is going to be okay b'diavad not lechatchila. So that's why the pasha has the girso. If it broke, I understand you can still use it. You can still save something. It's spilling slowly. If it's what can you use it? It have venom of a snake over there. Maybe you could do with it. You can mizal if you can throw it, sprinkle it in the house if they have a good smell. If you have water that was revealed, don't put it in Rabin. Maybe someone's going to drink it. Don't make out of it like the teeth, the clay. Don't put it in the house. All these cases, maybe someone's going to come in and drink it, touch it. Don't give your animal to drink. So what, you're not allowed to give it to the animals. The quick question, what is the chiddush to give the animals? Okay. So what do you see over here? You see clearly you're not allowed to do the infrazilu. You put it through a sifter. Nechem holds that it works. A sifter. You have a problem. Even if you put through the sifter, you still have a problem of the venom of the snake. It's only the bottom one is still revealed. As much as the only tachtoni means you have the sifter, put it on top, and it goes to the bottom kli. So if the bottom one is covered, there's no gilui. Why not?
Because it's sifting it out.
Because it's closed, and the sifter takes away the venom. It looks like a sponge. It stays in its place. So mainly you according to Rabbi Chem, I have a solution. Says more at least for Ziluv. Shimon Levi said that's only if you didn't mix it. But once you mix it, the sifter doesn't help. And here that you're pouring the oil from the barrel, it's mixed. Says more. Also, you don't have to spill it in one shot, which gets mixed. Do it slowly, and it won't be mixed. Says more. We do it for truma. What do we say? We said you do truma to the kohen, and the kohen can use it for ziluf, except oil. Do we do truma? You can do truma from fruit to tummy and tummy. You can do truma even for Torah tummy because as long as the truma is either equal or better, so then it's good. You can't do truma from tummy and Torah. The only place you can do truma b'tameh is b'dmai. Here you're allowing me to take a tevel, which is tameh, and make it into truma. How can you do that? Says more. It's also talking about here b'shulmai. Says the Gemara, Omar Mar, ub'shemen lo yasekim if they have sekoyim. And oil should not do it because the kohen is going to lose because the kohen cannot enjoy the oil. Why oil you can't use it? Because you can burn it. Also by wine, you can sprinkle it, like we said, maybe you'll tell me that sprinkling is not really considered to be a thing. We know that to drink, you buy with one seller. The same amount you want to sprinkle, you buy for two. It's more expensive, it's more chashav. You should buy the more expensive one for sprinkling. Sprinkling is a very nice thing. So we're talking about a new wine. What's all you have sprinkling? You have a good smell. But if it's new wine, there's no smell. So it's like more of a royally ashtra. You can just keep it there until it's yosher. So if you leave it there, maybe someone's going to drink it and it'll be a problem. Shemin nami yispi that they call it. What about shemin that you want to sprinkle? Also takes time until you use it. The manich bekli mos. You put it in an ugly kli and then you can use it to burn it. Yain manich bekli mos. Also wine, I'll put it in kli mos and then nobody's going to drink it. Hashtal ziv kabayle bekli mos kamanich le. I want it now to sprinkle it and put it in clean mos. It's going to be disgusting. I don't want to do it. You have 2 more minutes. We just get 2 dots. Says the Gemara, just to end the sugya. Says the Gemara, takola atzmo. This takola is machlik tanai. The fact that you chosh takola not. If you have a barrel of wine of truma, you can tome it. But what do you do with it? Says the Gemara, just throw it away. You have nothing to do with it. You could sprinkle it. So you do allow the wine to be sprinkled. I will fast it. In other words, I'll be a middle shita. That says ziluf in the house, you sprinkle it. But so that you can't sprinkle it, you're going to throw it away. Some say that says if it's old, that has a good smell, you'll sprinkle. If it's new, so he wants to be a achroya shlish. What's achroya shlish? He wants to be the machriya. There's 2 shitas. He's going to be the middle shita. You can't be a achroya shlish, not machras. What's achroya shlish? Rashi learns that achroya shlish means that nobody mentioned before. Nobody mentioned. No, machriya means that the first 2 shitas mentioned 2 things. It's 1, 2. He's 1, 2. I say 1 yes, 2 not. But if I did not have achroya shlish, it's not going to achroya shlish. Therefore, it's not achroya over here.